So now here's my secret. It is very simple. It is only with one's heart that one can see clearly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. How do we make sure that we make it more intentional to look out for those non-obvious things in our life right now? Debbie Allen, an actress and choreographer, says, but out of limitation comes creativity. Creativity is in business. So excited to see you all. Welcome. This is Monica Kang. So if I want to challenge you all to be creative, then I want to make sure this time that I spend with you is also spicing things up. And so I don't know if you noticed a little bit of a difference than what I've usually done is that you might see a little hint of character around my little scenery. If you recognize this, can you make a mention below? Do you know who this character is? Prince. I am a little big fan. It was first published in April 1943 and has already won 40 million copies around the world. The power of reframing the way we think about things is this particular story, for instance. So when I show you this, what image do you think in mind? Now, in the story as it starts is that for most adults, when we look at this, we immediately think that, oh, it's a hat, because that's what we see. We visually see that it's a hat. But what the illustrator was trying to make was actually this. Yes, that is supposed to be a boa snake that ate an elephant. So no, it was not a hat. And it brings a powerful reminder now when, as we're trying to figure out in the world, how do we make sense of things? How much are we assuming things the way they should be without just taking a moment to pause? Is this actually what it is? Then I think we might find something surprising. Or here's another second one. So one of the things he asked is that, could you draw me a sheep? And he goes, wait, what? Why a sheep? I was like, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to draw a sheep. And so he goes, I'm like, I'm a horrible drawing. I've learned from my boa snake lesson that I shouldn't be a drawing person. But then he started drawing this. I'm like, and then the first comment the little prince says, like, you know what? I don't like that. It's too weak. It's not going to be strong. Okay. Then he drew this next time. And then it was like, no, that's too angry. What if it tries to eat my rose? And then after that, it drew this one. And then he said, no, that's too old. And you know what's the version that the little prince was most happy with? It was this one that I put a little mark. This one, because what the illustrator finally said, you know what? The sheep that you want is inside this box. And the little prince was like, oh, that is perfect. That's exactly the sheep I want. So it connects with the same lesson, which is we're so good at assuming the way things are and thinking about how can we use the constraint that is now already given in a positive way. I wanted to connect on that theme of the non-obvious and share a story on that, which is when I was working on this book, which took about 2 years, I remember, when I said, hey, I'm writing a nonfiction book, it's business, going back to what adults traditionally expect to be a business book. They said, oh, then it should be like having charts, like it should, be black and white. You know what? Because that is exactly the book we are used to, I want to break the norm. This is why experts, artists, and innovative companies have purposely put constraints into place to make more creative decisions, build creative products, and build a creative community. And these illustrations, these are my original work. I cut out pieces of papers that musicians like Bob Dylan purposely take out certain beats or use only 2 rhythms to first test out what music they can create. So this is a different book that I want to share. I do like anime and graphics. What he talks about beautifully, I'm going to show you how he did cleverly in the back cover. So in the back cover, you know how you usually do hey, this is what my book is about. And then he says, this is proven by the Department of Information, and there's humors inside the entire book, how they had verification. And it says, inspector has commented, no perceptible threat to the order of day-to-day existence, inconsequential, safe for public consumptions, right? And pass. It's not banned, it's not forward to censor. And this is kind of a joke upon when you see the entire book inside, where it's talking about how certain books have been banned in the past. if I may share a little brief about it, because I love this book so much. I love graphics like this. So you want to hear a story? I'm going to read it from here. Well, I used to know a whole lot of pretty interesting ones. Some of them so funny you would laugh yourself unconscious. Others so terrible you never want to repeat them. But I can't remember any of those. So I'll just tell you about that time I found the lost thing. This all happened a few summers ago. One rather ordinary day by the beach. Not much was going on. I was, as usual, working tirelessly on my bottle top collection and stopped to look up for no particular reason. That's why I first saw the thing. I must have stared at it for a while. I mean, it had a really weird look about it. A sad, lost sort of look. Nobody else seemed to notice it. It was there, too busy doing beach stuff, I guess. Naturally, I was intrigued. I decided to investigate. Sure, didn't do much. It just sat there, looking out of place, and I was baffled. I was quite friendly though once I started talking to it. I played with the thing for most of the afternoon. It was great fun, yet I couldn't help feeling that something wasn't quite right. Something wasn't quite right. As the hours slouched by, it seemed less and less likely that anybody was coming to take the thing home. There was no denying that unhappy truth of this situation. It was lost. And then the journey continues. If you want me to read this book again, I will do it next time, but I leave you in suspense, hopefully with a curiosity of that few things I hope you already picked up. How often do we go about our days as a busy norm without taking a second to even notice what's happening outside? Right? We have to start where we are. Don't compare yourself with somebody else online. With this other book, this is a newer one I just recently came across as I was trying to look up for fun, creative ways to manage stress, because describe something about yourself that pushes people away. Now describe how it connects you. What's beautiful about questions like this is when we really think about where we are, there's a balance of both. There's things probably that ignite us, happy. There's things that stress us out. But I think the key is that, do you know them? Do you know where you are? Are you feeling a little lost perhaps? And that's okay, because then we're gonna rethink about that. You see how this is going, right? You rethink about that. And even at times you have a little friend called the Little Prince. How will you make space to see again with the eye of curiosity? Be open to adventures and just know that, how would I do this differently? We might miss a whole lot if we just brush through things and just do because it's the way it's done. And so for today, I don't have a quote, but I leave you with this, a question. What's something that you are learning more about yourself? What are you grateful for? And what's surprising you? Okay, now I've added like 5 questions. I'm sorry. I'm a question person and I'm genuinely curious, but I'll leave you with saying that stay curious. It is okay how you feel, but it's more important to know where you feel like you are. And if that is staying, that I feel lost, that is okay too. So stay curious, courageous, and rethink creativity. Because how in the world are we supposed to think differently if we keep seeing the same things? Oh, this is the one that I got in Japan. One is from Cuba. This is actually part of my collection. France, Lyon, and one of the ways that some of my friends have done is when they travel around the world, they've sent me books. So in fact, if you are somewhere around the world and you have a copy of a language that I don't have, I would love to have it. There's so much creativity in this book. Okay, so let's start with the title, right? The title is called The Lost Thing. Anyone feel like a lost thing right now? And if you feel like you don't know the answer right now, that is okay, because it is a journey. You might need to experiment. But the thing is this, right? Practice embracing fear and failure by being honest with yourself. Okay, I'll see you later. Have a good one.